Good evening, good evening, sports fans. This is Level Up Sports 10 here with my man City League Sports here representing for WTP Sports Dude as well as the platform that we stand on ourselves, man, here to recap some of the games from Sunday's NFL action as well as our Monday night pick for tonight's game with the Steelers, and we have them banging it out tonight. And we're going to get started with the Vikings and the Rams in a Thursday night battle. And with this game here, we seen Cooper Kupp back in form and Nakua as well. And Nakua went over 100 yards and got helmet touchdown. And Stafford, he hit 9 different receivers in this game. And one thing I noticed with the Vikings is over the years, we've seen them get on a win streak, and sometimes midway through that season where we have in a different feel of who they are as a team. And even this year, I still feel different about this Vikings team. But when it comes to this Rams team, when they have all their weapons, as you see, they are very dangerous. And they could play with, I feel like, anybody in the NFL. Even though they're missing the end and a Hall of Famer, Aaron Donald, we all know about. When I say them ends that they getting in them young guys they have, and Fisk, and I can't remember the other guy's name. They're definitely flying all over the field and looking great on defense as well. But they were able to come out on top by 10 against the Vikings in this one. And I think the Vikings should go back to the drawing board, maybe check out a few things that was getting them in that position to win games and even step up on the defensive side. So maybe we have to make a few changes on the offensive side to get things going in a different way when it comes to those Vikings and getting a few wins coming up. And the next game we had the Green Bay Packers and the Jacksonville Jaguars. And in this one, the Packers were able to get the win by 3. And I do want to send some prayers out, as we do when we hear about injuries, for Jordan Love to get well and get well fast. But Willis was able to come in and not only get a touchdown pass, but lead them on a drive and make a big play, catch, and make a big pass and catch on the receiver's end to give them that field goal, put them in position to win that game. So the one thing I can say about the Packers is when Jordan Love is not in the game, they are still a great team. As we seen when he went out in his third quarter, that they were still able to play some defense, even though Trevor Lawrence looked great with this team and he threw over 300 yards, they were still able, the Packers were able to stand up on defense and get that drive, which was needed to get to that field goal position to win that game. So hats off to that organization once again in Green Bay. We spoke about that, and they just do a good job in knowing who to pick, when to pick, and where to pick these guys at. And when they get on the field, they definitely do perform. And the next game, we have the Cardinals and the Dolphins. One thing about this game is we was asking about someone by the name of Marv and to see if his Maserati was in a kickstart, if they had the key in there, what was going on, but it was popping. Maserati got in that end zone. He got him 6 grabs for over 100, as well as McBride, and throwing for over 300 was a little guy. And we always call him Mr. Murray sometimes, but he was definitely looking like that today. He was able to squeak this out by a touchdown to us. Shout out to you coming out and you perform well in your return, getting over 200 yards, 234 to be exact. And one thing I noticed with the Dolphins is Acme is a great talent. He touched the ball about 16, 17 times, had over 140 total yards, 97 on the ground, I believe 50 in the air. So that's just something to look at with Miami moving forward, getting to it back. And the Maserati was definitely an impact this week. When you get him the ball, you see what the outcome could be. Defenses can definitely, pay him attention because you have to. You have no choice but to. And that opens up other things for the offense as well. So hats off to Murray and the Cardinals for coming out and getting a much-needed win and a big win as well in the showdown with those Dolphins. Our next game we have is the Jets at the Packers. And when I broke this game down, the one thing that stood out to me, the Jets and the Patriots, I'm sorry. The one thing that stood out to me is that the coach, who is a former linebacker, I believe, should be a Hall of Famer. He got him a ring as well. And Mayo, Jared Mayo, he said this is a complimentary football win. And a lot of people don't understand what that means, but for a coach in his first season, previously played for the organization for over, I believe, 7-8 years, and came out of Tennessee, great talent. That's what you want in your organization. I think when you have a coach like that, these are wins. Just having a coach that's in a mindset of Mayo that can get you a win as well. Rodgers, we've been talking a few things about him over the past weeks, maybe even month. He looked good. Can't say that he didn't look good in this game. Garrett Wilson looked very good, catching the ball 5 times for 113 wins. But one thing I did notice, the fumbles on both sides of the ball. But on the Patriots side, they definitely have a defense that's all over the place. Just to mention a few names, and Mr. Ellis Jones, I think it's Tavay Jennings. I say Gonzo, but it's Gonzalez, Pettis, just a few names on that defense. But complimentary win, as the coach said, I would say, for these Patriots in this one. And I think it's time for the Jets to go back to the drawing board. You got to figure some things out. You're making investments to try to get to that Super Bowl, but I think people are keying in on things that you want to do. So it's only right that you go to the drawing board, as in some of these teams need to do this season throughout as the season is going on and progressing some things that may not be working, and see what works best and make those necessary changes for the better for the team, for the season outlook. Our game next, we have the Baltimore Ravens and the Cleveland Browns. Can't call them Brownies this week. Got to call them Browns. And I did just say Brownies. And I'm going to take that back 2 times because they was playing like the Cleveland Browns. They came out and played some football.
I had to stick in real quick. Look, they just called a timeout. Hey, the Browns did their thing, man.
Talk about it.
They did their thing. It's the second best team in all the NFL. And Jameis Winston was out there throwing that ball, boy. Go ahead. Keep doing what you do, bro. You're killing it.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. And as he said, man, famous Jameis, man, that's one of my Seminole boys. He definitely came out, put on a show. I think he was one of the top quarterbacks. He was at over 300 yards for sure in this game. He threw for over 300 yards. And within this game, one thing I looked at, it was Lamar versus Jameis. You had Chris Henry versus Nick Chubbs. Then you had Zay Flowers versus Setting. That's what I'm going to call you, Cedric Setting. And it was just a great game. Overall, I mean, you talking about an AFC North rivalry, all the organizational doings with Cleveland, Baltimore, the moving, the switch, all the hoopla, camaraderie to come along with this. For the Browns to come out and get this win, along with everything else with the stadium, Give these Browns that stadium. This win solidified why they deserve a new stadium. And not to mention, once again, Jameis Winston, man, when you have a quarterback that's from one organization to the other organization, not to mention had those plus 25 games of experience in college, but had a 33-game win streak in college with the national championship. So I think a lot of those things, plays a part in being ready, being prepared, and having the troops ready to go and get the win. So shout out to the Cleveland Browns for the big win yesterday and just going out and playing great football. Defense is playing very well. Shut down corner and Ward. I see you. If don't nobody else, I see you. Just keep doing what you're doing. Our next game we're going to get to is the Colts and the Texans. Now, this also was a close game. As you see, the Texans pulled out the win by 3. And I know WTP Sports Dudes was hitting nephew up. Son, I don't know if y'all going to get this one. It's a close one. I think y'all can get it. But the Texans came out and they got the win in this one just by a field goal. But one thing I can say is if the Colts figure out what they want to do at quarterback, I feel like they could get them some wins because as we watch this Colts team, one week we see the defense playing great. The next weekend we see the defense playing, a little subpar, but then you see the defense just ball out. You see the offense play very good. And Jonathan Taylor had a great game. 20 rushes for over 100 yards. Downs had over 100 yards receiving and a touchdown on 4 grabs. And what we're trying to figure out in Indy is Richardson. What is the thing that'll get Richardson going? We see a few young quarterbacks out there, quite a few, as we mentioned, that's excelling and starting to move at a different pace. And some, when you expect them to move faster than others, sometimes you got to go hit that drawing board. You got to take them extra reps. You got to spend them 2 hours with your wide receivers or studying the film. And one thing is, if you do that, I think it pays off. So my thing to you, Richardson, just go hit the study field. Nothing wrong with it. It will definitely pay off. So with the Texans, CJ was grooving, 285 with a touchdown, Mixon. 25 carries, $102. I'm going to just say Benji, Mixon Benji, because he's been getting the Benji mark pretty often this season. When he touch it, he runs heavy, he gets over $100 and some, and he always get in that end zone as he did as well. And the Texans moved to 6-2. So one team I've definitely got my eyes on are the Houston Texans. They're moving in this AFC this year, and they look like a force to be reckoned. And they're without their number one target these last 2 weeks, and they're getting wins. So we got to definitely look at that. And when they get Nico back, they're definitely going to be a force. So Texans get the win over the Colts by a field goal, and that was a great division win for the Texans. WTP dudes, sports dudes. Sorry, bro. I was watching this early, seeing on the scroll, it was 7-0. Then it was 14-0. Then it was 14-7. Then it was 21-14. I was like, oh, man, this is a shootout. This is going down. So next thing you know, I seen the score start getting out of hand, 35-14. I was like, man, what happened? So I checked the stats, and the defense was playing great. It was just special teams. I feel like when you playing in Detroit and they get anything on the special teams, it's just a different team. They got momentum off that. Not to mention the fumbles. We had 3 fumbles on the side of the Texans. They lost 2 of those fumbles. And I think when you turning the ball over different junctures of the game, and they had those turnovers and junctures where it could have kept the game close and even turned the game and made a big difference in the game at one point, I believe. So when those things happen, I think it totally changes the game. Home field advantage plays a big part in that, depending on how that turnover is, how it's caused, all of those things. And not to mention when the Khalif, when he got the big return, the crowd just went crazy. And from that point on, it was just, they just kept moving. Had 3 touchdowns on Goff's end. Gibbs was running wild for a touchdown, 11 touches, $129. And as a team, they had 24 rushes for 164. So Gibbs, man, shout out to you, boss. You was doing your thing, man. We do not miss you as far as in seeing when you out there doing your thing. The 2 backs y'all have, and you and Montgomery, man, y'all give us so many glimpses of great football in Detroit. And when I had gave the title, once again, WTP Sports News, I'm sorry for this, it said Slaughterhouse in Motown. So with that being said, I'm going to just get to the next one. And then that next one, we had another banger with the Buccaneers and the Falcons. And in this one, I was watching quite a few things to see how Kirk Cousins would fare out and how the Falcons defense would be, as well as how Baker would be without his 2 main targets, Evans and Godwin. And this lived up to some great hype, as you see in the score being 31-26. And I had a little title with Baker didn't quite finish the cookies that was in the oven. Kirk baked them. I just like my little things like that, because it just keeps me in tune to what's going on in the sports world in different ways, and I just love the different commentary. So with that being said about Kirk baking them, he only had 6 incompletions. He threw for 276 yards on 4 touchdowns. Bijan, he had 13 touches, which was on the rushing side, for 63 yards. He had 7 catches for 43 yards and a touchdown. Kyle Pitts was the target. He found him twice. And then another thing that I noticed is that with the injuries that Baker Mayfield had, he was still able to find a tight end who was starting to come into his own, and that is Cade Otton. So make sure that you pay attention to him as the season progresses, because 20 targets, he got 17 catches. That means his hands are secure. He will catch the ball. He will get the job done. But just that late push, it wasn't enough. And kudos to Baker for playing without your major wide receivers and still pushing through. Shout out to the defense on Tampa Bay side as well, and not to mention the defense for the Falcons. And I remember speaking about the Falcons, I think it was after week 3, about their tackles. They tackle the ball. They tackle very heavy. When they get to you, they touch you, they put you down. They had 74 tackles as a team. That's a lot of tackles as a team. And I think those are things that get you wins. That's third downs that may hold you up for a yard or 2. But that's just great football on the ends of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And on the Atlanta Falcons as a team and tackling on that defense. So with the Falcons getting that win, that's a great thing, especially within that division as it gets down to crunch time. And just seeing Kirk Cousins playing good football is definitely a great thing. I think he's found this team in Atlanta. I know they said it, about Minnesota with the weapons he had, but I think when you have a quarterback like Kirk Cousins that knows the game, that's had maybe one weapon but not enough weapons, when you get young weapons to put a little pep in your step, it gives you a little more confidence. So shout out to Kirk and everything that's going on in Atlanta with the success they're having as well this season. And the next game we have was the Saints and the Chargers. And I called this one Herbs and McConkey's Afterburners. As we see, the 60-yard catch, and when he put on the afterburners on that run for the touchdown, the yak, as we call it, yards after catch, it was a great thing to see. And it's just good to see that not Justin Herbert throwing over 200 yards, 250, he threw for 279 to be exact, and a couple of touchdowns. He had 4 rushes for 49 yards, if anybody paid attention to. And that ankle didn't look too hampered. So for the Chargers, that's definitely a great thing moving forward, but that's something to keep an eye on as well. If you take those times to get out of the pocket, get a few yards, because he has had opportunity early in the season. So that seems that ankle's starting to get much more healthier as the season progresses, which is a good thing for the Chargers as well. And for the Saints, it was good to see Olave get him some catches. I think he got about 8 catches. He had over 100 yards, 107. And it's just Spencer, Jake, and Hill. The car's not driving right now. So until that car start driving, and, again, we got to take our time to hit the study table. Let's go back, get some footage in, get some notes down, see what the defenses are doing, study our opponent to where we know what we should do before we, hit that practice field as the week is going through practice, and even for the game, throughout the game. So I think if those quarterbacks do those things, I think there will be success, as their careers go on. But I think right now with the Saints, I think with Carr being hurt, I think it's just something that's definitely a thing that's going to hunt them as the season goes on, because they were a team that started off pretty hot. And as of late, they've been pretty cold. And then when you have 9 punts, you have 437 yards, that's more yards than you have total offense. Won't get the job done at any time, any game, any place. So with that being said, we just going to move on to the next game. And we have the Bills and the Seahawks. Now, this is a team I've been watching very closely throughout the season. And once they got that trade for Amari Cooper, I just stayed locked in to see how things would be with Buffalo and just how they move. One thing about them, Cook is back. That means the run game is up. That means that's going to take pressure off of Josh. That means there's going to be more balls that could be thrown into play action, whether it's Cooper, whether it's Coleman, whether it's Shakir, So Josh Allen is slowly, with the loss with Baltimore yesterday, he's slowly moving up an MVP race, I would say. And I say Josh too cool Allen. Cook is back. And Buffalo routed the Seahawks. 283 for Josh Allen, 117 for Cook, 107 for Khalil Shakir, that is. And then on the Seahawks side, you have 3 fumbles. You can't turn the ball over and expect to win a big game like this, whether you at home or whether you on the road. And I spoke about this, I think the week before last, about the 12th man in Seattle. And the crazy thing was that Texas A&M have a 12th man, and Seattle has a 12th man. Texas 12th man outplayed y'all this weekend, and they crowd volume Seattle because y'all got blitzed by Buffalo and them Bills. 31-10, Texas A&M went on the route. 38-23, I believe, against LSU, who I picked to win, but they lost. But anyways, getting back to the game at hand, I think this pushed Bills forward in their season and giving them a different outlook as far as even wanting to be the AFC champs, because when you get your running back back, and that running back is Cook, James Cook, great running back. Dalvin Cook's cousin, brother, I forget exactly which one. One of my guys, Dalvin Cook from Florida State. Cook is a great running back. I mean, the progression year by year makes Buffalo a different team with him being back. So, but definitely watch the Buffalo Bills as the season continue, as they get them another big win as the season progresses also. And a thriller and a showdown of our quarterback first round draft picks and Caleb and Jaden. And in this one, Jaden threw for over 300. Caden looked great. Swift was running the ball like a monster train. And all it came down to was one of those famous Aaron Rodgers to Lazard Hail Marys. It wasn't happening this weekend with them two, but it happened with Jaden in Washington. And the Commanders commanded to get this win in any way, shape, or form. But it was by the way of Hail Mary. And that just goes to show how Washington's season is going with this young nucleus that they have. And the Jaden Daniels to McLaurin hookup, I think that's a duo that we have to look at. If you look at the connection that they have this year alone, this is a rookie quarterback I'm talking about with a, I think, 5th, maybe 6-year receiver. I can't exactly remember. The connection they have is a sight to see. And if you haven't tuned in to any of the Washington Commanders game, you might want to from here on out, so you can watch and see how great of a team they're becoming. They're one of the most dangerous teams I feel this year as well, with Dallas losing. We'll get to that. And Washington winning, that puts them in the driver's seat even more, in that division when it comes to Washington and Philly. And we'll get to those Eagles as well here in a second. But it's just a great win for Washington. And even though Chicago lost to a Hail Mary in this one, Williams, you've been getting a lot better week by week. Continue the progression, young brother. We see you as well. You and Jaden could be possibly playing each other in NFC championships years to come. We see that happening. But in this one, Jaden came out on top with the touchdown, Hail Mary. McLaurin was over 100 yards, 125. Williams had a touchdown as well, with that being that Hail Mary. Brian Robinson's back, man, and when he's healthy, there's just a different offense as well. And just continue, Caleb, and that Bears team. Just continue. One loss at this point in the season don't hurt you. I know that division is tough. Keep pushing. It's only great things going up. And next, we have the Kansas City Chiefs and the Las Vegas Raiders. And in this one, it was 27-20. And I was watching this game for some reason. The score didn't seem like it was as close, but it was. It's just the Raiders are just a team that when you have opportunity, you have to cash in. At the end of the day, you have to cash in on the opportunities that you had in this game, and it shows. MVP, Patty, you had another great performance. And I've been watching you these past few weeks. And somebody I've been watching for the past month is that man they call TK, Travis Kelce. I see you, bro. You got your first touchdown of the season, and you had 10 grabs for 90 yards, but you got about 20 plus grabs in the last month. So with, a lot of people talking about you not getting many targets, not getting many catches, but I see you, bro. You getting them grabs lately, and I see the wins keep stacking up as y'all continue to run through this season. And right now, I think that puts you guys at a 7-0. So just, continue doing what you're doing. Patty Mahomes, the youngest to get to, I think, 25,000 in a regular season, 30,000, one of those big numbers. And to throw that ball to the new addition, D-Hop, was a great thing, when I would say a young Patty Mahomes and a veteran like Hopkins, what a great way, to get that record with it going to his hands. And the Chiefs keep chugging away. We know that Raiders team is a young team. Minshew, we see you out there doing as much as you can. Keep that team together. Crosby on the defensive side as well. We see you. Just keep balling out, man. Keep balling out. It's not unnoticed. We see it. It's just, it's just a few more pieces needed on that team to just give it some push and some challenge to other teams at times. So outside of that, just continue what you're doing in Las Vegas. It's nothing wrong, nothing bad. As the draft picks and players come in the years, the progression is there. And this next one, we had a battle with some young stars that got the starting job back this week. To Andy Dalton, prayers out to you. I know you had a scare over the week with the car accident. Hope everything is getting better with you and the family. I know had a scare as well. So getting to the game within itself. Bryce Young looked good at times, looked great, as a matter of fact, at times. But just still some mistakes, and I see why they made the switch. I just want to see him go into the training room, work on your body, on your frame, on the mindset, just shut everything down and straight NFL football. When I say overload your brain to where you're not just dreaming about a cover 2, a cover 3, or a nickel coverage, a blitzing package, 8 in the box. You literally wake up and you say you eating that 2-man coverage, or you eating the cover 3, or you want that safety to come down and blitz because you got something ready for him. I know there's a talent there. On the other end, Bo Nix and Sutton, we see that connection. Bo Nix, you're looking great. Sutton looking good as well, over 100 yards. And with those 8 catches, and Bo Nix threw for 3 touchdowns and 284 yards passing. And the Broncos, I think, are 4-3, but they're definitely a team to watch, and I believe that they are undefeated in the division. So we just got to watch that. The record you have is important, but that division is important as well, because we've seen teams get in by not having a better record and having a better division record and being a key piece to getting into those playoffs. So as we get down to the nitty-gritty of the season, those division games matter in a lot of ways. Just, speaking on that, not that this is a division game, but just saying on Denver's end, how great they are doing in their division, and they are 4-3. So hats off to Bo Nix, and another win with Denver in that stadium that we know we don't like to play in. Our next game we have City League. I picked them this past week. I told myself, if I picked them, I wouldn't pick on them again. Purdy and them 49ers, 30, them Cowgirls, 24. Now, this the thing is, last week, as I just said to City League, WTP Sports, they all know how we are. Parlay Po, I know you ain't pick them, you picked the Niners, so I know you laughing right now. I picked the Cowboys thinking they could get this win for me. And, I was chilling with my brothers yesterday, and, my brother's a Cowboys fan, my other brother's an Eagles fan, so I was NFC'd out, all surrounding me. But I said, bro, y'all gonna get the win? I got y'all winning. He said, man, I hope so. And when he said that, I said, man, I think they gonna I think they going down as they did. Dak, you got some things to explain. Had a great game, and CD, he had a great game, great performance. It just wasn't enough for San Francisco. Purdy, Kittle, gang, Niner gang, bang, bang, as y'all say. Y'all doing a great job, man. For y'all to be down and minus some of the players that you are. Debo, I wasn't going to forget about you. Nasty grab, all that and some. Just continue what you're doing as an organization because y'all getting wins, y'all putting them together. And, at the end of the day, when you win games week in, week out in the NFL, that's a great thing. And especially in this one, Dallas, y'all got a lot of things to figure out in a big city. Y'all call Texas. Y'all Texas, not no more. Because they coming in Texas. Y'all going away from Texas, losing. I don't know what to say this year. Bro, Sean, you might have to set up a meeting with Jerry Jones because he needs somebody to get in that office with him and run it. Might have to put him on the sideline so he could just watch from the crib or something because it's not working right now down there in Dallas. The next game that we have, me and City League, man, we've been having a rough year, and the one thing I could say is I've been having probably one of the roughest years. Cincinnati Bengals and the Philadelphia Eagles at Paycor Stadium. T. Higgins, I just hope you get better. But with you in the offense looks different. Burrow looking great. Continue to what you do. Gesicki, you look great. Running game look good. We just got to figure out who we want back there. We got to figure out who's going to be first, second down, who's going to be our every down back, who we going to switch it up on third down. And those defensive issues that's been hurting us all season comes out and hits us right in the chin. One thing I would say is Jalen Hurts is an unbelievable talent. Devontae Smith had a great grab. I think that's going to be on the top 10 for sure. And Smith was balling out for Philadelphia. And I actually went to my brother's house. We hung out, and I watched this game. And normally I don't leave the crib, but, man, when it comes to my brothers, I go hang out, watch the game, chill. That's what we do. So, we watching the game, we balling. And he hit me onto a safety, young rookie, DeJean, 33 for Philly. I was watching the game. That boy's a monster. That boy's a beast. Number 33 for the Philadelphia Eagles, DeJean. I seen you, and I'm a Bengals fan. You was out there in that secondary all over the place. You even got a play on Jamar Chase on the third down. You was just everywhere. So shout out to you on that defensive side for the Eagles. And as I get back to my Bengals on the defensive side of the ball, we got to step up in the secondary. I'm noticing that we get a lot of Michigan Wolverines in the secondary. And it's another one. I was, feeling good about you a couple weeks ago. You had a great game, great performance. And then you start looking like the usual self. You throwing energy, you just all over the place. And you get burnt a couple times. Nelson, that is. I'm going to call you out. I'm a Bengals fan. So, Nelson, you got to get that. You got to get that in order. We got to get our defensive backs in better position, and they got to go study. They got to go study these receivers. Cam Taylor, Britt, you got to get these boys in the locker room. Y'all got to get together. Y'all got to figure out what we doing as a secondary because it's not getting the job done. It's not. At times, I'm watching our linebackers as if they lost. They don't know which way to go, what's going on this way, what's going on that way, who's in and who's out. So I know on the offensive side, when T. Higgins there, our offense is totally different. And I just want to give credit to Burrow, Chase, Gesicki, Moss, Chase Brown, Burton, my guy, 16. Oh, man, I don't know how I'm forgetting your name. I'm just so much in one, just thinking about this game, as well as the young guy in 80. Just continue to press on each and every week. This is not the end of the season. Right now, we're in a position for a wild card. That's just truly how I feel, Cincinnati. We got to go on a win streak. We got to go on a win streak. We got to start to buckle down on the defensive side of the ball ASAP so we could do things differently, not on the offense, but on the turnout of the game. Because when your defense is playing great, it puts that opposing offense in positions that they're not, whether it be used to or they just not might be ready for or just don't think it can happen. That keeps that offense guessing. You know, and you as a defense, let's put some more pressure on that QB. Let's lock in on our secondary. Let's go hit that study board to know when we going against certain receivers what we got to do. Let's come up out of that zone and go man a little more to make our corners work on what needs to be worked on, to where when we do those things, we doing what we need to do. When we in that zone, let's not just look at the quarterback. Let's move. Let's see these players. Let's slow who's in these positions. Oh, this man's going to be there. That man's going to be there. Let's make these stops on third down, Cincinnati. Let's do what we got to do to get these wins. And I know a lot of people be looking like, man, what is Mike Jordan in the background? You know, I ain't got to speak much on him. Basketball season and all that good stuff coming soon. That's why he's in the background. But with all of our breakdowns this week, man, if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them in the chat anytime. We definitely look at it, give you our feedback, any questions, any thoughts, whatever it may be. Even if you want to jump into our live, just let us know so we can get you in and talk about your team with you and whatnot, all the good stuff when it comes to NFL, even college football. So I don't have much more, for our NFL breakdown, with the exception of our picks for our Monday night game. And you know who we have tonight? Parlay Poe. You thought I forgot about you? I had you got for that one. Got the Giants at the Pittsburgh Steelers tonight. My pick, I got Pittsburgh in this one. And I'm going to say Pittsburgh's defense at home gets this win big. It got Pittsburgh 6.5. The over and under is 36.5. After the performance last week, I say they come out, and I'm going to take the over in this. I'm going to go over the 36.5 with the Pittsburgh Steelers getting the win tonight as they are kicking off. And with that being said, make sure you like and subscribe. Go follow WTP Sports Dude, City League TV. I'm your man, Level Up Sports, Mossberg, Joseph. We're gonna be doing this, man, for the longest, man. I'm loving it, man. And I appreciate my uncle, WTP Sports Dudes, letting me have the live tonight and get the live stream going as we continue to come and give you guys great content week in, week out. The next stream will be tomorrow, and we will be coming to you with our college football talk and our college football slate for the week, and we'll get started on that. So with that being said, make sure once again you like and subscribe. Peace.